George Papadopoulos joins me now on the U.S. Report. George, thanks for coming on this evening. Now, Donald Trump is officially the presumptive Republican presidential nominee at this point, and the stage is set for a Biden v. Trump rematch in November. No surprises, but now that he is the nominee, I want to ask you, with your experience with this sort of thing, do you expect that behind the scenes there will be forces again trying to stop his path to victory?
Well, James, thanks so much for having me. And what I really think we're witnessing, not only in the United States, but around the world, is the greatest political comeback in history. And there are, no matter what political forces might be at bay, I don't think that they could really stop the MAGA movement and its vast reverberations throughout the United States. We can't forget that over 75 million Americans voted for President Trump. And the reason that I believe that he did secure the nomination the way that he did is because he's running on charisma, ideas, and he's forward-looking instead of this dark, pessimistic, and almost violent approach that Biden has towards over 75 million Americans in the world, in the United States. So you could really understand how diametrically opposed Trump and Biden are today regarding both the description and their vision for the United States moving forward, especially this election. So I don't think there's anything that could stop President Trump from winning this election because the people want him to win. His approval is soaring. He's raising robust sums of money, and people see right through these various maneuvers that both the Democrats and even some in the Republican Party are committing against him.
So do you think that he is, I guess you could say, not unstoppable, but unswampable?
Well, I think that's absolutely why he is having the type of impact this election the same way that he did in 2016. Because let's look at the facts. The factors that he's once again facing are so similar to 2016 when I was on his campaign. He's facing overt lawfare, except in 2016 it was more subtle. And he was facing these establishment swamp-like candidates in the Republican Party that had unsummable, that had incredible amount of money from super PACs and various other donors. And it once again highlighted that no amount of money can really stop a candidate as long as that candidate has the support and the will of the people. So I really do think that if you want an unswampable candidate, Donald Trump was your man in 2016, 2020, and in this election, certainly.
And George, I want to get your reaction to the reports that came out a couple of weeks ago that revealed that the CIA and foreign intelligence agencies did, in fact, illegally target 26 associates of Donald Trump before the 2016 Russia collusion claims. What was your reaction when you saw that news? And did you feel like there was some vindication for your story?
Well, I felt initially that it was a profound and devastating indictment for not only the U.S. intel agencies, but of course, Allied intelligence. And this is something that I've been speaking about since probably 2018, when many people thought this was some sort of rogue FBI operation. I always said that, of course, there was international intrigue behind this story. And also, I think that it's total and absolute vindication, not only for myself at a personal level, but of course, the Trump campaign and President Trump. And I think it's going to have new deleterious consequences should President Trump get reelected for certain bilateral relationships.
Indeed, indeed. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But also, I just want to ask you about this, too, because FBI Director Chris Wray was grilled at a congressional hearing this week. He refused to confirm whether or not he was aware that, in fact, an audio recording existed of Joe Biden discussing classified documents. Have a listen to this.
Are you aware that there's an audio recording of Joe Biden saying to his ghostwriter in February of 2016, quote, "I just found all the classified stuff downstairs," end quote? Are you aware of that audio recording?
Again, I would just respectfully refer you to the special counsel.
No, I'm asking you, are you aware as director of the FBI? You're either aware or you're not.
I'm aware. Am I aware of what now?
Whether the audio exists of Joe Biden saying in February 2017, quote, "I just found all the classified stuff downstairs," end quote, to his ghostwriter.
Again, I'm just going to refer to the special counsel and his testimony and his report.
It sounds like you might be aware of it then.
George, your reaction to another one of these so-called letter agencies essentially trying to cover for Joe Biden and for the Democrats?
I think that there's nothing more corrosive or dangerous to our way of life and our functioning as a republic than a two-tier justice system. And what you just witnessed was Exhibit A of a two-tier justice system, in which there's now a profound perception among a wide segment of the American population which believes that the FBI is essentially covering up for various crimes committed not only by the Biden family, President Biden, and even high-profile Democrats, while on the other hand, you have the Department of Justice debasing itself from historic norms to then go out and indict a former president, raid his home, and put him through these various kangaroo court situations while he's leading in the polls in the middle of an election. So it's no surprise. Unfortunately, conservatives in America have been dealing with this type of weaponization of justice. It's certainly something that moving forward, Donald Trump is going to certainly have to address, especially regarding his cabinet picks. And that's why I think his attorney general, who he's considering for FBI director, CIA director, are probably more important than his vice president at this point.
George Papadopoulos, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this evening on the U.S. Report. Now, we'll be back in a moment with Only in America. But first, you want to see the next 8 months of the Trump campaign boiled down into 45 seconds? I knew you did. Here's the man himself laying down the lines he hoped will win him the presidency again.
They see how bad, how pathetic Biden's been. He's the worst president in the history of our country. He's corrupt. He's incompetent. He's weaponized the justice system to go after his political opponent, which has never been done before. And he's the worst president we've ever had. He's not respected at all in foreign. Look, you wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have Israel being attacked. Iran was broke when I was president. They were broke because of me. Let's say they were broke. And they didn't have the money to give to Hamas or Hezbollah. All of these things, you wouldn't have inflation because it was caused by energy. All of these things were things that were very preventable, not preventable by him. And the problem we have 7 months to go, a little more than 7 months to go. That's an eternity when you have incompetent people running the government.